Welcome back to another beautiful day in the land of music. My name is Douglas, and it is with great excitement that I am announcing my Worship Sound Pack Volume 1 for the Nord Stage 4. So I've been using this in my church, leading worship, and over the last couple of months, I've been curating this set of sounds with a kind of the perfect pad that I had for the Nord Stage 3 that I developed. I couldn't translate that over to the Nord Stage 4. So I had to rebuild something in the Nord Stage 4. And I've got to say, I like it as much, if not more, than my perfect pad for the Nord Stage 3. So a lot of these programs are kind of built off of that pad as a base. I also developed a new pad called the Wide Pad for the Nord Stage 4 specifically. And it's just a bit of a wider synth pad sound than the perfect pad. The perfect pad has a little bit more sparkle to it. And I like both of these in certain instances. So all that being said, you can get this on my website, dsoundman.com, DSOUNDMAN.com. Link is in the description below. I'm going to play you a little sample of the programs and kind of talk about the usability of these, what I've programmed to make these kind of the perfect programs to throw them into your 8 live modes or to leave them as programs and just switch between them. If you have the Nord triple pedal, you can use that to go up and down. You can also program the pedal to do the layer scene. So each of these programs has 2 variations. So there's 8 programs. Each of them has 2 variations. So there's really about 16 combinations of sounds that you're getting with this Worship Sound Pack. And so let me walk you through some of these sounds. If you're interested in a no talking video demo of each of these programs and their variations, I'll link that in the description below, or you can click up here and go watch that. I'm just playing through all of the 8 programs and their variations in that video. But let's talk about these programs. Let me walk you through a couple things. I don't have my overhead camera set up just because there's not a lot I'm going to show you from like how to program, but I'm just going to talk about what I've done to these programs to make them usable for you. Again, go grab them on my website. If you don't have the Nord Stage 4 and you have the Nord Stage 3 and you're looking for programs, you can find a couple of program packs that I have for the Nord Stage 3 on my website as well. Link in the description below. You can go grab those. The perfect pad for the Nord Stage 3 is perfect for church music as well as other music, but I use it a lot at my church in terms of the music we play there. So let's talk about these programs. First of all, this is more than just a program pack because I built these 2 synth pad sounds, the perfect pad and the wide pad. And what I've done is I've put these as presets into the synth preset library. So if you're building a program, you can just go to the synth presets, grab either the perfect pad or the wide pad, and bring that into a program you're building. So beyond the 8 programs, there's also the 2 synth presets that have both these synth pad sounds. So you can use those. So let's start with the perfect pad piano. And this one, the first variation is kind of a tweaked piano that's good for live use, and then the perfect pad sound. So if I play this, the big thing here is that the pad sound is tied to the modulation wheel on the Nord Stage 4. So you can bring the pad in or out with this wheel, and you'll see me do that a lot as I'm playing it. I kind of use that to dynamically control that synth pad sound. So this is just the piano sound. And then you can bring the pad sound in with this wheel. Now you could also turn the piano section off if you're starting off a song. Sometimes I'll do this, I'll hit a chord with the pad all the way down and the piano section off, and I'll start to bring that in. Sometimes someone's reading a verse or saying a prayer and I want to kind of lead into the next song. Then I'll turn the piano section on. And then using the new layer scene functionality on the Nord Stage 4. There's a button below the live mode button, and you can also program your triple pedal to turn this layer scene on and off. But it allows you to have 2 variations of the same program. Because of the ability to put effects on each layer, it allows us to have a pretty detailed program here with 2 layers. So the first one, again, regular piano. And let's say you're ending the song and you're going into some prayer. And I like to do this a lot. You'll notice if you've watched other videos I have talking about worship music and using the Nord series in church, is I like to have a softer piano that I bring in after a song is finished, kind of in that break. Maybe it's benediction, something like that, where you want to have a little bit of music in the background. I have this soft variation of this. So the layer scene button kind of controls it. Again, your modulation wheel is still tied to the pad. So let's say we're ending the song. Then we switch to our second variation with that layer scene button or your pedal. So you get that soft piano that kind of just fills in and is a little bit warmer in the mix. So that's the first program. I'll say that each one of these programs has some different functionality. So we go to number 2, and this is one called Flex Piano. And what this is I program the piano to be a little bit brighter for live use. Sounds great when you're playing on stage with a band. And variation 2 brings in a softer version of that piano with a little bit of that cloud delay or reverb on there. Taking advantage of some of the dynamic compression on the Nord Stage 4 that doesn't really compress the sound, but it helps even out the volume of that. Without any sort of synth or anything there, get just nice cloud atmospheric piano sound there. Switch variations, you can go back to the hard one. So that is Flex Piano. Now we have the Perfect Pad Felt. And I like this one particularly for times where, like at my church, we'll do during communion, which we do once a month at my church. Sometimes we'll do an instrumental version of a hymn or a worship song. So let's take maybe Turn Your Eyes. And then sometimes during that song, we want to kind of build the dynamics a little bit, but not too much, because this is obviously not, we're not trying to rock out during communion. But sometimes you want a little bit more movement. So the second variation is one that I really love here. So if we move into that. So it gives you just a little bit more movement throughout that sound. So we move over to the fourth one. This is Perfect Pad Move. And this is the perfect pad, but there's a little bit more movement to it. And the first variation is just the pad sound controlled by our modulation wheel here. So we could bring this in. And then you'll notice a little bit of bouncing and movement to this as I play the notes. Now this one's perfect for the times where maybe you have another piano player in your band and you're just responsible for the synth. Now, something cool that I did with this one is while it's not really a droning sound, you can use it in that way. And I'll do this where, now that I have this layer scene functionality, I can switch between that really quickly, as well as tie it to my triple pedal. And so what I can do is, the first variation of this is just this atmospheric pad sound, right? So beautiful. Second variation is just the felt upright. Very soft, upright sound. Very intimate. And so what you can do, that's also pretty atmospheric. So this is, again, depending on the song you're playing, it's going to be too much if you have a full band. But if you're just doing maybe an acoustic and you want to just have a little bit of that atmospheric sound there, you can switch between the layers and give yourself a bit of a droning effect. So we're on the first variation, which is just the pad. I'm going to hit just a couple of D notes rocking down in the bottom, holding the sustain pedal. So that's held. Switch variations, that's going to continue. I'm still holding the sustain pedal. And then we could come back over. The piano is going to still be atmospheric. A rocking B flat. Maybe we'll throw an F in there. Hit a couple wrong notes there, but you get the idea. Is you can use that, and I'll actually just kind of switch back and forth as you saw. So let's throw ourselves in the key of G here. So just by switching between the variations, we can have a lot of fun with this program. Fits really well in some of those very atmospheric, needy sounds. So number 5 is Heavenly Piano. What this one is there's 2 piano layers. The first one, if we pull the second layer down, so both layers are activated. And in this one, the first variation has a second piano that's just 100% cloud reverb. So if we bring that and just play it here, we'll bring this to about a quarter. And then we start to bring that second layer in. So it's like kind of going over and selecting your layer, twisting your cathedral reverb. But what this is doing is it's giving us that full non-reverb piano sound. And then, well, it's got a little stage reverb on there. And then the second layer here is that 100% wet. And so if we just reduce the volume of the regular and just play our second layer. So that's what that's doing. And we're layering that. So you can use this pretty nicely in some scenarios where that cloud reverb is amazing. Now, the second variation to this kills that cloud reverb. So you just get a nice clean piano sound with some equalizing done to it to make it just stand out a little bit more in a band. Now, our 6th sound here is Perfect Pad EP. Now, this one has a couple of variations. The first variation, again, pad is tied to our modulation wheel. And then our second variation gives us just a little bit more movement around the electric piano. Now we get into the brand new wide pad. Now this is something that I don't have a sound for the Nord Stage 3. Something I built with kind of the functionality we have here on the Nord Stage 4 with those 3 synth pad layers and the individual effects. So this one's gonna be a little bit higher on kind of the resonance. And if you've got subs in your front of house, it's probably gonna resonate a little bit more in those subs. But check this out. So it's a little darker, a little bit more subdued than the perfect pad. And then the second variation of this brings in a really wet, reverby electric piano. And what this does is it almost gives us a bit of an echo to that synth sound. So check this out. Regular variation number 1 and variation 2. Really dynamic sound there, pretty atmospheric, and just kind of, it gives you a little bit more grit in that second variation. And then number 8, the wide pad piano. So what this one is a pretty bright first variation. And what I've done on the grand piano here is really brightened it up. So this is gonna be good for maybe those songs where you need the piano to cut through the mix a little bit more. Let's just grab the key of D here. Again, the pad is tied to our modulation wheel. A little bit more compressed. And then the second variation of this sound is a piano sound that's a bit more subdued than the really bright one. So. So those are the 8 sounds and kind of some quick run-throughs of them. Remember that the modulation wheel is most times tied to the synth to be able to bring that in and out. The first variation is usually kind of your more straightforward sound. Second variation brings in a little bit more on the effects and things like that for that particular program. So I hope you guys enjoy these programs as much as I do. I play these live whenever I lead worship at my church. And I hope this gives you a jump start so you don't have to build your own sound. You can just load these on and you're good to go. So thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting this channel and supporting these program packs and sound packs that I'm putting out. There's going to be more coming for the Nord Stage 3, the Nord Stage 4, and a worship live set for the Yamaha YC series. So stay tuned for those. Don't forget to subscribe because I'll be coming out with a lot of videos on how to use the Nord Stage 4. Thanks for watching. Stay inspired and keep making that music.